And good afternoon, everyone. David Dubine here. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel. Have something special for you today. Polyface Farms went up there to Virginia. Take a look at the integrated farming system, starting off early morning views. It's all about cattle grazing the pasture first, followed by broiler chickens, doing the same thing with turkeys, moving the cages after the cattle have eaten down the pasture. Don't forget the grapes growing, greenhouse, chicken mobile, and in the morning before the tours, you might make a new friend. Most snacks use unhealthy artificial ingredients that may cause weight gain and are bad for your body. That's why you need to try Toodaloo adaptogenic trail mix, mouth-watering and my #1 favorite snack. I'm not the only one who loves it. Toodaloo was rated the #1 best and healthiest nut snack in America by Eat This, Not That Food Awards. And each of Toodaloo's 4 flavors has 30 adaptogenic herbs, and it's great for prepping. It has a 12-month shelf life, so if you're thinking about putting some storable foods aside, puppy cameo. And for the next 24 hours, you can try Toodaloo, America's most delicious trail mix, at up to 20% off by visiting Go Nuts With Me. You don't get the puppy included, that's my puppy, but you can get one of the 4 flavors here, all 4. GoNutsWithMe.com. That link's in the description box below. And now on with the video. And if you haven't noticed, it's time to get busy thinking about how to plant food, create proteins as centralized systems break down. So Joel Salatin and Polyface Farms, you might have heard that before, and then Daniel, his son, has now taken over. It's in our neck of the woods here, about a 6-hour drive. Decided to head up there, get our minds around integrating systems for higher production and different ways to consider food, fertilizer, protein, and how to live more sustainably off the land. If you're not able to get things from the supermarkets, and it looks like that's inbound as soon as September 2022. Oh wait, that's just mere months away. That's why we spent the time to take the trip. That's how important it is to learn. So I'm going to bring you some information so you don't have to use your gas money to get up there. So here we go. The key is also proximity. So this is the tiny house that Polyface Farms rents, because when you walk down the hill and over to the right, you get to the farm. We arrived a little bit late, and again, it's about enjoying these last days we have left that you consider any sort of normalcy, because after the end of the year this year, we are going to be living in a very different world. September marks the beginning of it. But waking up to such beautiful views and hawks sailing through the air, being there a day early before everybody arrives for the hay rides, farm's open 24/7. I wanted to walk around and see the building techniques and what they're using for raw materials. And we fell a lot of trees on our property too. Some even just fall down in windstorms, pines and whatnot. So could you not build the same way? Different ways to set up hay troughs, low cost, but very effective. And they saw their own lumber there too. And if you're a fan of counting tree rings like I am, you are definitely gonna like this photo here as well. And the tighter the spacing, the colder the years with less precipitation, less growth, tighter the ring. And when you're thinking about different input into the diet, of course, getting milk from goats, sheep, and cattle. So we took our dog with us because she hadn't been around any types of larger animals like running with cattle or being close to 50 or 100 chickens. It was a learning experience for her to get more comfortable on the farm as well with larger animals. But friends are going to make friends. They're about the same age, and nobody was around there when we were walking the day prior to the hayride. Incredibly quiet, and we had time to stop to let life go at its own pace. But I was stoked on the good old-fashioned hayride. These have kind of disappeared from Americana. But load up some wagons with hay, get it on the tractor, and away you go. Stunning views, and the whole principle that Joel had put together was graze your cattle first on what would be pasture that gets normally stamped down into a mud mess. Move your cattle out of the way to another part of the pasture, and then follow it with chickens or turkey. It's a natural symbiosis. And I was talking with Daniel. I was asking him the 3 top things to implement that could have the greatest results in the shortest amount of time. Update on the puppy. See where she is now. The broiler chickens is one of the things. So I'll put a couple pictures here of how they're able to move these chicken coops with 60, 70 chickens in them every day so they can eat naturally after they follow the cow and the cattle through this pasture. So we ourselves want to build some of these, but we want to do a half size. As you can see, they're considerable. They can hold up to 70 broiler chicken, just meat chickens. These are not for egg laying in any way, shape, or form, unless they take them out and move them to a different place to then get into that laying hen mode. But these are strictly for meat. After the cattle graze, you can move them along by the day. Just simply grab this pulley system. You only need to move it the length of the coop itself every 2 days. The chickens can forage and frolic, moving through the cattle manure, kicking up, looking for insects, enhancing the soil. And after they're finished, the pasture grows back more lush than the first pass. And of course, any homestead would not be complete without bees and beehives, because we need our pollinators for the grapevines. Remember your favorite types of fruit. If you don't have the trees in there, put some vines in. We've been working with muscadines, Old Concord, Flame, and looking for some interesting ideas to boost yield on plants. Now you could just do this with a shade cloth. I don't think you'd have to have it exactly into the greenhouse, but a lot of density right in that very small amount of space for output. I'm moving over to drip tape and automated systems myself for watering, so we don't have to spend the time. And it's always precision watering with the precision amount at the right time of the day when they need it most, because it's really getting hot in the summer and kind of dry. But the output, along with the wood chip setup here, something to think about and ways to boost productivity in smaller spaces, because that's what we're going to need to move to. More targeted yields coming out of smaller space with less work. Then we had to move to a different part of the farm to go up and see the turkeys, but the way the wind was blowing, haven't seen this except in tall grass areas, maybe in Hawaii or Taiwan on the side of the volcano. Just stunning the way the wind is making that look tiny. Nature dwarfs us. Remember, you're going to need a water source, because coming into some of these times, water is going to be the key to being able to have an abundant harvest. That's what you need. Can you create a pond and then put some fish, turtles, or something in it for protein as well? Chicken mobile. Now we're coming to the laying hens here. Looks like the old Dominic breed there. Those were the chickens that I was looking at originally, but then we ended up getting guinea fowl for this first round of raising our own birds. But it's all about not overusing this single space where animals exist. It's about allowing them to forage freely and help return nutrients back to the soil, but then moving before that area gets overused. So notice everything's mobile. That's why they say the chicken mobile. And right next to that were the turkeys, and notice the movable fence behind there. So again, once they're finished for a couple of days, they can move them onward. There's never overusage of the land to turn it into a mud pit. It's always about allowing your animals to get more free natural food as well, because animal feed is going to get expensive. If you can do something for free, or at least supplement, especially with birds, so you can get more protein and egg, this is going to be the key to survival. You being able to keep your proteins up with fats. Now the turkey can be run in the same way inside the cages there. That thing can be moved. But I'll say it again, we were thinking half-size cages because those are a little heavy for kids to be moving around. Following the same principle though, cattle first, birds second, look how lush it is behind. And then after the hayride, I had a chance to sit down for 15 minutes with Daniel Salatin. That interview, published just a day before this, you'll find that in the playlist. I'll put the link below in case you want to listen to what Daniel has to say about the 3 easiest, fastest ways to start getting protein in foods if you're starting from zero and you need to move immediately, like you will, to start food production. Then heading back down to Tennessee because we were in Virginia, ended up staying in a very nice tent because I was doing some research on how many of these can I put around the property with those same types of wood-burning stoves, which are incredibly easy to light, by the way. Could I put a few of these around my property, and would people want to stay in there with this kind of luxury, staying in a tent, but eating at the main house? So I'm trying to iron out a few of the logistics things here and see if I can put this in play on my own property. But in Virginia, there's some old history there, and this is one of the favorite barns that I'd seen driving around that area near Polyface Farms. Hadn't seen a barn quite like this before with the stone foundation and then such a different looking roof and the way that the angles come off. Definitely more European style than American. But our host Wesley, who I'm going to do an interview with, who is a fly fishing and hunting guide, we're going to talk about the forest being hunted out during the Great Depression and how fast that might happen now if everybody starts to forage for food again. This is a look at his garden. And it was, for me, a learning trip. What could I learn? What are other people doing? How are they doing it? This is quite the large set out for a family of 4, but they had so much that they just continually can with the overage. Corn's coming in, beans on the other side, looking solid, but I learned a lot about row spacing and actually putting some more deer protection around and maybe some rabbit protection so we don't get eaten out of house and home when it's mission critical. And we can't end up going to the mountains without finding a waterfall. What can you learn about agriculture as quickly as you can? It's a fully functional farm, and I'm so happy I went because I did learn so much and have so many new ideas that I can integrate here with what we already have. It's more of a blending, a hybrid. We are at that point now. You're definitely going to need to get some seeds and think about storable foods, getting your gardens up, things that you're going to need for gardening that might not be so available come in 2023, like tools, for example. And if you are looking for seeds, True Leaf Market seeds, heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet, that link's in the description box below. It helps support the Adapt 2030 channel every time you purchase something, as well as my Patriot supply with the 3-month emergency food supply, 25-year shelf life. Give yourself the peace of mind knowing you have storable foods, because who knows how long we're going to need to ride out the chaos. That link's also in the description box below, as well as the link to Polyface Farms, so you can go say, hey, go there yourself, find out more information, and I will see you next video.